Hey everyone, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this episode, I'm working on a 5x7 double page spread for a new autumn 2023 mini album, and I titled the page Sunset. I'm using the digital version of Welcome Autumn by Carta Bella, and I just printed everything and then cut everything out. I'm also using dies and some of my local supplies like stamps and all that. Now, here I'm starting by working on the background, and for this one I made sure that I'm not that each page has its own cardstock backing, so that I can do things to the page. I have done traveler's notebook style booklets and mini albums where I then work on one single cardstock for front and back, and so that precludes any sewing or any other of these things. So with this one I really wanted to make sure it's double, and that way on each page I can go as crazy as I want with what I want to do. In the end, everything will be held together with kind of spine or gutter pieces that I can switch the gutter out, the size of the gutter, so that it can be any size that I need it for that page. So they can be wider if I have bulky things in there, they can be smaller when I have less bulk on that page. So that works really fine. So as usual, with digital products, I do create this in Silhouette. I create my page and then get everything ready for printing and then just cut it out. Mostly fussy cutting, which is a lot of it is straight, just straight lines to cut. Complicated things I either use some of my dies for, or I can use my Silhouette for it as well. Here the design is going across 2 pages, and so I have to make sure that I don't apply too much glue on that little bit that goes to the other page, so that it won't dry yet or anything. So I have to keep that in mind, and then I have to be very generous with the glue there, so that I can reapply it and glue it onto the other side there. So you see here, in this case, a lot of times I scrap across the 2 pages, and at the very end I start cutting things apart. But for this one I decided I would cut apart first and then get it re-glued back onto the other side of the page there. So now I have this part of the page ready to go, and then there's the other side of the other page basically. And so for that one I also have a bunch of papers that I will be layering, and as always you have to pay attention, or I have to pay attention to the fact of what comes first. A lot of times I forget, and then I realize, oh, I already glued something on. With this one, for example, this strip, I knew it was going to go underneath there, and I still needed to go that larger piece to go on top first, so that I actually knew where to put that little piece. So that is done on purpose, because I knew it was just a strip that I can kind of slide underneath the bigger piece of paper. So anyway, now I actually ran this piece through my sewing machine, and so I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's stitching now on it, and so that was why that cut was there. So I decided that I wanted to have some stitching on my page, and that's the beauty with this style. I also, when I cut the base pages, I made sure that I kept front and back together. That way I can use less glue. I could create pockets basically. It's so that the inside edge will be glued to whatever will be the gutter piece, so that will be closed off that way. But then I can use pockets and any other things. I can use inserts to go between the pages if I wanted to. So all of that is possible. I don't think I will use it, but that way I don't need to use massive amounts of glue just to glue the pages together, as I do with many of my other pages. So here I'm ready to put the photo down. I matted the photo with some dark cardstock there, and then I created a whole bunch of embellishments. Of course, with this digital collection, and I got the whole collection, it comes with a ton of embellishments, of course, but I also like to use my own, create my own embellishments. That circle piece there is actually a bit of washi tape that I use one of my circle dies with to just die cut, and it becomes a nice little element piece. So there's stamping, there's a lot of fussy cutting of elements that come with the collection, but there's also stamping and other embellishment pieces that I create with die cutting, and I like to watercolor. I have this awesome set of watercolor pencils, which has over 200 different colored pencils, so it's a beautiful thing to work with so many colors, and so I like to do that, and you will see me color some of the further elements there. So here I'm just arranging everything in that corner. So it's a picture of a sunset. It's the first actual day of autumn, although where I live, autumn is counted a little differently. It's actually around mid-autumn considered at this point. But anyway, because that corner there, or just the bottom half of the photo is pretty dark, so I didn't mind covering it up because it really doesn't have much as far as photo goes what you can see there, so I don't mind covering it up. So now I'm ready to move on with the other page there of that double page spread, and this one will get this bigger square photo again of the sunset there, and I have these little tags that I created in Silhouette. I just cropped the pattern paper to it, or for in the other instance, that's this tag I actually created myself. I just colored it with a color picker. I picked the color from the collection and then added the word fall there, and now I can just glue the photo. I'm not using a mat for this one. I'm trying to keep the bulk from the page from becoming too bulky. And now it's time again to start embellishing everything here. And I have these little paper flags that I wanted to add in the corner there. And then it's just layering a whole bunch of embellishments. So again, some of them come with a collection. Then this one I've just literally fussy cut. I'm not a big fan of fussy cutting. It's time consuming for me, and there's many other things I have to do and want to do. So I try to avoid it where as much as I can. Sometimes I pull out my Silhouette and have it cut things out. But for this one, I felt it was easier because it was just one single piece there that was more of the fussy cutting type. Then I also create my own word strips. Some of them are available as freebie on my blog, mistyhilltops.com, and all I do is I just print them on heavy-duty cardstock and then cut them out with a trimmer, and then I have them ready to go. They're sitting in a box, and I can just pull out these little word strips. I like to use them because they're small size. I'm only a small scale scrapper. I'm not a big 12 by 12 scale scrapper, but I like to do the full scale scrapping, not just like the typical mini album style scrapping. So I always have to look for smaller embellishments. Here I'm ready to adhere the title. I die cut the title and then watercolored it just in yellow orange, kind of an ombre kind of design, so that it I guess emanates the feel of a sunset there. And so I'm adding that title to my page, and I still have a bunch of word strips that are that I need to put on the page. For my journaling there, I just created a little tag kind of, or label kind of, that I used some stamping ink, and I just colored or distressed or just rubbed some stamping ink on it. So now you see I pulled in the rest of the embellishments there. Here I'm just putting down some more word strips. But then I worked on, I die cut a bunch of tiny little leaves. They come from all kinds of collections of my die cut stash. I try to have different, for different seasons and all that. So I pull them together from all different kinds of sets because they were about the same size. Then I watercolored them again in the typical kind of autumn colors. Like some of them are mostly between yellow, orange, red. And now I can just drop them onto my page and kind of scatter them around, just like leaves that are falling in the wind and just scatter everywhere. So kind of creating that feel to it. So all I need to do now is just add a bunch of little leaves scattered around the page there. So that is this part of the page. And with the way that I'm working on this album, I can add as many or as few pages as I want, so I don't have to pre-plan everything. I can just go page by page as photos, or as I take photos throughout my everyday life. So I like the independence it gives me. I will just use some strips of paper to glue the two pages together and then add more pages to them. And so that'll work just fine. Here I'm still trying to tuck some leaves even underneath some of the embellishments that I glued on beforehand. I couldn't get it underneath that little circle there on the left, so it doesn't matter because I can just add them somewhere else on the page. So I try to usually work in uneven or odd numbers, just so because it's kind of like a design principle to not use pairs. That's too easy for the eye to, I guess, decode. And so now all I want to do is add a little bit of bling here. I have these little enamel kind of dots, and I add, they have a sticky part on the back, but I usually manage to pull off the sticky part, so I just to make sure it sticks, I apply glue to it, and then I use my toothpick there to just place it on the page. So again, I'm trying to use odd numbers of these kinds of embellishments just so that it's more work for the eye to figure things out. So that means the eye will stay on the page a little longer. So I guess it's just a few more of these to place on the page, and then this is my page done. I'm going to leave with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.